This might be the angriest podcast we've ever recorded.
Are we going? Are we?
Oh, we're on. We're gone. We're screwing it up. We're kicking the dog. We're doing it all, man. And just to make the listeners happy. Is it about them? What's it about? What's this about? What are we doing?
I don't know. It's not about my patience. I can tell you that. Good night. Hey guys, we are back.
I don't know if we're better for it, but we are back.
We're back, and hopefully we are. Oh gosh, I don't know, guys. You won't
believe the journey we've been on.
We've had a long morning, working out technical issues. We told you guys we were going to. We've dedicated some time to it. All to find out there was just
one factor. Yes, we thought we were adding an element by enhancing this with a Bluetooth speaker to pick up on the musical cues that we add to the podcast. Mm-hmm. And I've learned out that was sabotaging our audio everywhere else. Once that was gone, and I don't think that was the only thing. But man, once we realized that was it,
I was sabotaging it as well.
Yeah, I don't know if you were.
We have earned ourselves a drink.
Oh, please.
Eddie,
yes.
can you
Eddie,
help us out,
man?
Exactly.
Oh. I've never been so happy to see you, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie. I have never been this angry at 10:30 in the morning. I'm not even
on the weekend, nonetheless.
On the weekend.
Yeah, I'm sorry to have to do that to you.
No, you're fine. My soccer team's losing. For anybody on video, if you just see me staring, it looks like I'm staring off into space. I'm not. There's a laptop under the camera, and I'm watching Everton lose.
Yeah, well, whatever you got to do. I'm glad you're focused on our podcast.
Yep. Today we're having I don't even know what the hell this is called. What was this called?
The
Bizzy, Izzy, Fizzy. That's what it was called.
I was gonna say
that's where we're at, guys.
Itty bitty.
That's where we're at. It's a Bizzy, Izzy, Fizzy. I found a cocktail book from pre-Prohibition era, and this was one of those. So, like, old cocktails you're going to find are kind of not as... they're not as high octane as today's. Oh, yeah! They're not as... Everton scored a goal. Sorry, guys. They're not as...
I'm like, you really got excited because you came up with the phrase high octane?
No. No, Dwight McNeil just kicked one in the bottom of the corner. So we this is how we multitask. We want to bring you things, and I still want to be a selfish sports fan. This is great, actually. I like it. This is rye whiskey, sherry, pineapple juice, lemon juice, and club soda. So it's nice. It's really refreshing. It feels a lot like a good summertime drink.
I'm just going to double fist it because of the whole morning we've had. So I hope we brought enough for refills.
No. But we've got other things to do today. But I found out recently, we talked about this on one of the Lost episodes, but worth mentioning, that you are a big fan of rum.
I am.
I recently found out I like rum.
Yeah,
I just had to go on vacation to find out I like rum.
The Lost episodes were amazing. I'm so sorry. We laid down 3 great...
We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
Nothing's been more frustrating losing those episodes. We did our best to try and resurrect one. We're going to see how these next 2 episodes go. We made the audio salvageable. It still takes a little bit of effort to listen to, but
what we might do is, because we're in a long lull between holidays, we might drop those to you guys as B-sides with a disclaimer that's just like, hey, some of the audio, like at the beginning where the music comes in, that cuts out. But
it's just
some of the audios
were phenomenal. We pulled some of those great stories. Are we going to pull those in?
No, because we agreed we probably can't catch lightning in a bottle. If you want to retell any of them, I'm okay with it. But we are angry right now. There's a lot of sincere frustration.
We're just pretty frustrated that we've spent 5 episodes
wasting your time.
Doing this to you because you have all, the beauty of this is you all have reached out and been like, hey, I missed the new episodes. I missed the new releases. I really enjoy listening to you guys. And so we do appreciate all those who have reached out and given us some feedback and comments. We are sorry that we've had to be on hiatus. It is a hobby. Like, we are doing this hobby-ishly, like hobbits.
One of us is doing this because he got talked into it.
Yeah. Well,
I was going to say, I'm going to name names.
We're about to get real angry. I'm guessing
I don't know.
We're gonna have to do some. We're gonna have to do some mowing. Go out there and get yourself a lawn mower.
All right. I do have to mow my grass later today, and I'm going to do it with nothing but fury.
I'm supposed to go to a 100-year-old birthday party
Today?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wouldn't it be weird if they died today?
Ow.
That would be essentially.
I don't know if today's the actual birthday. It's certainly the party. It's a neighbor here in town. Guy's pretty self-reliant still and independent.
Yeah. I would love to die on my birthday. I think there's something real. Like, I'm not joking. If it's like you get to pick the date you die, I'll be like, my 100th birthday.
Oh, 100?
Well,
you really want to get to 100?
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm trying to lose a little winter weight, and even that feels hard at 43. So
It's impossible. It's impossible. The amount of effort. My wife and I both had doctor's appointments this week.
Kill me.
And she came back from hers. I'm gonna spill the beans. And she's like, my blood pressure was high. She's like, my weight's a little up, but then my blood pressure's high. She's like, I've never had high blood pressure. And I'm like high enough to be medicated? And she's like, well, no, but the doctor's like, well, maybe if you lose a few lbs, like that'll certainly help pull it down. So she's kind of been spiraling all week. I had a medical appointment to do a clearance for some insurance, and mine was low. And so I'm like, well, I'm glad I'm the healthy one in this relationship.
You're like, it's no big deal. I'll live for the kids. I'll take one for the team. My diet 50 days over. I'll live for the kids since you're gonna be selfish and have high blood pressure.
You know, it's just a jerk.
Yeah, I had I had 2 medical appointments this week as well, and every time I go into one specific one, the nurse is always like, "You have high blood pressure," and I go, "Yeah, because I'm here." Like I'm here, and that's why I have high blood pressure.
It's kind of like when I donate blood, and they're like, "Oh, your pulse is elevated. I mean, are you anxious about anything?" I'm like,
"Yeah, you're about to stab me with a needle."
Let's read the room. Let's read the room a little bit. Yeah. Come on.
I did, though. I got to see one of the techs that I see every few months, and it's the same girl that tried to tape herself to my arm that one day.
Oh, well.
I think we've told that in a past episode. But yeah, she's delightful to be able to see, and I'm super distracted by this, man. Like I am trying so hard to maintain my excitement. Because like I'm a loud sports fan,
and I'm kind of willing to be like, oh, I'm just gonna let him watch his game and see what he kind of rambles on about.
And I can ramble about anything. Hope y'all like the Constitution. Here we go. I've heard there's a map on the back.
Awkward pause. Get a popcorn. Get a hot dog. Get some nacho cheese.
Oh man, we're getting to that point. Have you been grilling recently?
I roasted lamb for Seder meal, but I haven't done anything since.
Oh man, it's one of those like,
and it was amazing. I don't like lamb.
Oh, I love lamb.
I could but after roasting it, I'm like, oh, maybe I like roasted lamb.
Yeah,
smoked lamb.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Do you like gyros?
I do love gyros.
Okay,
but that's like the meat. It's like meat conglomeration, right?
It's like
lamb, chicken,
yeah,
and beef.
It's like a turducken, only Greek.
Yeah, right.
It's like the Greek turducken,
and they have it on the column, and like those should come standard in houses.
They should.
Yeah,
I would like that a lot. What do you want for your birthday, hon? I want gyro.
The meat column, the heated meat column that's in with just a gyro pita warmer next to it, so it comes out just perfectly toasted.
Were you a fan of Parks and Rec?
I caught a few episodes, and it was
There's one where Ron Swanson
goes and
does yoga.
My kids loved it.
Yeah, with I forget Rob Lowe's character, but then he's like, "Do you want to go back in and meditate more?" He goes, "No." next door there's a spinning cone of meat, and I'd like to eat the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I love lamb. But this week the weather has been like perfect.
How much?
Yeah. I love lamb. Yeah. Guys, we came back and we're not on. So
we're not on.
Good luck.
You're getting a trash episode.
Good luck.
This is us decompressing.
Yeah.
The next one we record is actually probably going to be pretty good because we're going to get all this. We're going to get all this out. You know.
So come see us next Sunday, and until then, we'll see you later. We're just gonna log.
No
off.
way. We're muddling around for at least 40 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to kick around in the dark.
I don't even care. But the weather's been so nice this week. I find that I'm trying to make every dinner grillable.
Okay.
Because I just want to be outside grilling, and I'm also probably a bad husband because even after dinner I want to sit outside for another hour or so. I want to be outside as much as I can.
Well, why does that make you a bad husband?
Because my wife doesn't like to be outside.
At all?
It's not very often that she likes. She doesn't like to just sit outside.
What does she like to do?
Read. And
you can read outside. Books will travel outside.
No, they won't.
They don't.
No, we subscribe to the Stone books.
Tablets.
Yeah, they come in tablets. Yeah, and it's not when we say she's reading her tablet, people are like, "Oh, she can bring her iPad out here." And they're like, "Oh no, it's a tablet."
Yeah, she's on a 4-tablet book.
They're 40 pounds each, and her arms are jacked though, man. Lifting those tablets, dude. Her arms are ripped.
She's a beast.
Her arms are actually ripped anyways. So, but no, we've talked about it before. I'm an outdoor cat. She's an indoor cat. She doesn't.
Have we talked about it before?
Okay, well we can talk about it right now.
Maybe we have. Maybe you just need a cutout hole in your wall where you can just reach through and hold hands or something.
You know what we should do? Here's what we should do.
Cut out.
We should just because my deck looks into the living room. We should just open the windows. We've never even thought about this. We could spend time together through a screen. That's love, guys. That's what love looks like. That's what love looks like.
You're talking about your deck. You're talking about holes in walls.
Yeah.
Talking about
bad
husband.
We're not doing that.
Bad husband, good husband.
My wife is an indoor cat. She just really likes the comforts of being inside. To the fact she'll have groceries delivered, and I love going to the market. And she's like, nope, I'm just gonna have groceries delivered, and she just really doesn't like going places or being outside. And I'm an outdoor cat where I love being outside, and I might leave something dead on your porch just to see how it goes. So
please don't do that.
I brought you a squirrel.
Got you found this in the yard.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm dangerous.
What do you like to grill? Can you do basic, just chicken breast and burgers and that such?
Yeah, I can do the basics. I can do bratwurst, hot dogs, burgers.
I did burgers the other day, and I sprinkled everything but the bagel seasoning on it. And it was not disappointing.
Interesting. I bet that'd be good flavor.
Yeah.
You got onion and garlic in there.
You got it all.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect seasoning for a nice burger.
Parsley, sage, rosemary, and Lowry seasoning salt.
Yeah, they were all over. Yeah. They came.
Yeah.
So your hat.
Yeah.
The emblem.
That's a quick left turn.
Well, the emblem on the other side, I thought it was Florida.
Nope.
Because you traveled recently to Florida, and I was like, that's interesting that you buy a Florida hat to wear.
No, I don't like Florida enough to buy a.
Well, a hat. I would have assumed that, and then I'd have been like, that's really interesting that you're really going to celebrate Florida, but it's not.
It's not Florida.
Yeah, it is not. It's Michigan.
Ooh. What was that?
Anytime you meet someone from Michigan, and they're like, "Where are you from?" They're like, Okay, that's nice.
Do they make the R slur noises though?
They pretty much anytime someone from Michigan talks, they're making that.
Wow, you have a lot of opinions about Michigan. Let's let them out. Let them out.
They're a step above Ohio. I mean, maybe a little bit.
Geographically, yeah, they're right above Ohio. Yeah.
As far as just tolerable.
Michiganders? Is that you don't like Michigan? Like the people?
Correct. Them and Buckeyes.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. They're the worst sports fans. They're pretty bad sports
like
fans.
Michigan University?
In Michigan University, Ohio State.
Oh, Ohio State fans are
intolerable.
Yes,
intolerable.
That's the word I wanted.
Yes,
because the other words were not family friendly. And it was a combination of it was a 1-2 combo. Yeah, no, they are. Oh, they're the worst. I have a really, really close friend who's an Ohio State person, and I'm like,
yeah. I have a friend who's he got his master's from Ohio State, and I don't know if he ever talks about sports. Like, and he's a I think he's a sports fan in general. He enjoys football and the different games, the different sports games they got out, sports ball.
Let's play the sports balls.
He would be the exception. It's Joe that I'm thinking about. But
hey, Joe.
Pretty much anyone else who's a Buckeye fan, they're just kind of... IU fans aren't great either.
Oh, you know what? You want to get dirty on this.
Weather up.
I graduated from Purdue. Hammer down. I graduated from Purdue, and I'm very proud of that. Mostly because, like, my pop graduated from Purdue.
Okay.
And most of his family went to Purdue. And we're just kind of a Purdue family, I think. Even though, like, my siblings didn't. And so... Yeah, coming at you.
Yeah. Coming in hot.
Every person I've ever met who went to IU, it's like they put something in the water that just made them smarmy. And it's just this weird elitist, like, I mean, I went to Bloomington. No, you went to IU. You didn't go to Bloomington. There's Bloomington in Illinois. And I didn't get as a college. And I'm like, get bent. Like, you're not that special. You went to college. Cool.
Yeah,
Who cares?
Yeah.
I went to college too. Who cares? You know where my diploma hangs?
Where?
In my garage.
Ooh.
With the tools I don't use very often. So there's this whole thing of like, here's the tools Ben never uses.
Is that a testament of your degree as well? What's your degree in?
Chemistry.
Chemistry.
No, I don't use it.
What?
Because it's like,
come on, use it on the grill.
I don't use this degree.
That sounds like you're a smart. That's a Smarty Pants. Is that Smarty Pants?
Yeah, no.
You make crystal meth?
No.
Are you Breaking Bad?
I gave them enough money, they traded me a degree for it. That's what happened.
Yeah, sure. I get that.
4 years.
I get that. Yeah, 4 years of your life. But do you remember those?
I do, actually. So it was funny.
Did you drink a lot in college?
No, I drank a lot in high school.
Oh, wow. So what? College was sobering up?
So sinner and saint moments. I drank a lot as an adolescent.
Don't do that. We
have talked about this, kids. If you think drinking is cool, start with coffee.
Yeah.
Because that is a much harder dragon to ride. No, I was... I'll just lean right into the center moment. I self-medicated a lot in high school from some emotional trauma as a kid, and chose drugs and alcohol to get me through that.
You and I probably would have been friends in high school. Probably not.
Oh man, no. And like, we've also talked about I don't like children at all. And one of the reasons I never wanted to have kids of my own is like I was not a good kid. Like I was angry. I would fight people. Like I was just mad, and I was a jerk. And so, like, a mad jerk who's drinking and on drugs is like, yeah, who wants to be that guy's friend? Matthew Moore, who is hey, man.
Thanks for being Ben's friend.
And Ben Crabtree.
You got him through, yeah.
Jake Wills.
Do you still connect with those guys?
No, I've not connected with anybody from high school in a long time.
Yeah.
And so no, when I got to college, maybe my saint moment of it was when I got to college, I was like, I had to pay for it myself. And I was like, hey, take this seriously, man.
Yeah.
You're financially investing in you.
Yeah.
So, like, don't get trashed. And, I mean, I still went to parties in college and stuff, but I really started to kind of grow up and learn how to be an adult in college because I was
when everyone else was coming off the rails, you're kind of like, all right, I got you.
Amateurs.
I'll hold your hair back. Yeah.
I was like, oh, is this your first time? Oh, cool. That come down's hard, isn't it? Yeah, enjoy. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. It's the center and saint moment of, gosh, I grew up small town, and we've talked a little bit about this, but I grew up in a small town that, like, I was terrified to do anything because I'm like, oh, this is gonna get. My mom used to threaten. She's like, I know people everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that I had some friends from a church summer camp that were from all across the state of Missouri that we were going to meet in St. James, Missouri for breakfast to kind of reconnect over the summer. And so we drove an hour, and I drove 90 minutes, took my brother along, because he knew some of them. And when we walked into, it was a Denny's or a Shoney's, her coworker was sitting at a table there, and I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Like, I cannot go anywhere without my mom knowing somebody."
That's funny.
Who was there. And so I was always terrified of just being like, if I get out of line, like, it's going to come back. It's going to bite me in the butt. So, like, I didn't. I just had a couple of small instances of maybe drinking a little too much at one party in high school, and that was it was not with teenagers, it was with adults. It was a cast party after a summer show, which I think we talked about way early on in the podcast. And then I chose not to date girls from my high school because I was like, I'm not sure I trust me or them to not make good choices. So we're just going to avoid that altogether.
Now, as someone who also grew up in a small town, we used to just laugh about there's two things to do in the winter in a small town, and that's drink and fornicate. And so it's funny that you're like, you were a good kid because you're like, I don't want to put myself in that situation. And I was like, I gotta find my way into that situation.
There was plenty of both of those happening with all of my classmates, and I was
Friday.
like, I'm gonna stay away from all that. So I had plenty of I call them kissing friends, but friends with benefits, as they say in today's world.
Not if it's just kissing. That's makeup partner.
Oh, that's not it.
That's a makeup partner.
Okay. Well, that was I had a few of those. So, but that was about it. Like, and I never went through a series of like just drunkenness. Never in my life. Like,
well, my friend, you should get a divorce.
Well. She's gonna die soon anyway.
She doesn't stand a chance.
I'm gonna buy one of those Greek wives that can make me those euros every day for lunch. You know, I've got a plan. I got a backup plan. You know,
every day you come home and like, wouldn't that be great though? Like you come home and it's just spinning, and you just slice off a strip, just a little snack, just a little snack, and your house smells amazing all the time. Provided you like the smell of
gyros and onions and wow. What do you call the sauce?
Tzatziki.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you call it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same. I could never figure it out, so I just kind of I throw a T and a Z in there and just kind of mumble the rest. I love the sauce on it.
It's called white sauce. Can I get some white gravy on there? And somebody throws Alfredo.
Get all the white gravy.
I don't know if we would have been friends in high school or not, but I know we would have played sports probably together. Like I could have seen us being on
if we played football together.
But my school was so small we didn't even have football. So I never had a chance to play organized football.
You've been great. You've been a nice left guard to my right, right guard to my right tackle. Man,
I'm too angry. I would have been a defensive end.
I played defensive too. So
yeah.
I'd have been down in the nose in the trenches, and you'd been next to me. That was so. My senior year, I played next to Matt Casey, who actually was a good friend. I knew him, kind of grew up with him, kind of a thing. And he was a great guard. Mm-hmm. And then on the defensive end, I had Danny Hahn down in the hunches, in the trenches with me, and then Dustin,
I like down in the hunches.
Well, it was that too. And then Dustin Kane was he was my defensive end on the left side, and he was a quick little guy, but he was powerful and strong.
Yeah.
So it was fun to play with those guys, and on different plays to be like, hey, here's what they're doing. At least is how I remember it.
Yeah.
You hear people talk about their glory days, and you're like, sure, you were the hot shot, whatever. And so it's always like, in my mind, here's how that played out. In reality, it was probably just us kind of walking around smashing bodies every 10 seconds.
Have you heard that thing that a football game is actually only 12 minutes long?
Oh, you're standing around most of the time.
Yeah, because it's you only go for 10 to 12 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
For 12 minutes throughout 3 hours.
When I transitioned to rugby in college, I was like, we're moving all the time. We're playing, like, this is soccer. Like, we're constantly running for 40-minute halves. The conditioning was very intense.
Yeah.
Very intense. So, but yeah, that would have been fun. But who knows? Maybe we'll start a 40-plus flag football team.
Well, I guess the big takeaway is I'm happy we became adult friends.
Hey.
Because again, I don't keep up with any of the kids I grew up with.
No, I don't either, and I do appreciate them, but I was a different person in high school. Like, I avoided the stuff because I was afraid I was going to get caught, not because I wanted to do the right thing.
Now now, just if I can give you some unsolicited advice here, we've talked about it before. When you stop caring about everything, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
My saint moment. Let's see. Boy, I don't know if I had any saint moments. I pretended to be good, but again, it was solely just out of, which is, gosh, maybe not too different from adult life.
Yeah.
Pretending to be good, and my Enneagram too, wanting to portray a level of goodness. In the Lost episode, I'm gonna pull this story.
Do it.
In the Lost episode, I talked about, and when I went back and tried to listen to it and kind of was remembering it, I was like, oh, that was nice that I polished my halo on what. Just cover up my own selfishness. So it was buying the bourbon for a friend of mine. He hosted us the last 2 years down in Texas.
We need to talk more about that. Go ahead. Sorry. Keep going.
So I traveled over spring break down to Texas. 2 years we had a host that held us down.
He did not hold you down.
He did not hold us down. He welcomed us.
He held us down.
At his ranch the last couple of years, and just really appreciated it. At no cost to us, and so it was just kind of a home base. And the southern western part of Texas is very remote and barren, but there's a beauty in that. I mean, it's rugged and individualist.
You probably don't know this.
Yeah.
The desert is my favorite landscape.
Oh no, not me. No, yeah.
I mean, keep going.
I mean, it's beautiful, but it's not as a place where I'd love to live. You live there?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, our retirement plan is to the Southwest.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
No,
well, that's good to know you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm cutting all ties. So you were in Southwest Texas.
So yeah. So he hosted us 2 years. We were in Fort Davis, and I was like, oh, I want to get him a nice gift. He's a bourbon drinker. And I thought, let's get him a nice gift to kind of just say thank you for the last couple of years. Let's see if we can find a locally distilled something that we can offer him. And so Fort Davis is not a very big town at all. But I was like, is there a liquor store nearby where some local liquors might be able to be purchased? And there was a little like vacation-y, touristy shop or whatever. And they're like, well, yeah, actually next door. I'll just go over and open it for you. So we go down.
I didn't realize that.
I follow her out the door and 10 steps and then into the next shack that she unlocks and opens. And I said, what kind of local liquors are available? And she's like, what do you mean local? Fort Davis isn't very big. And I'm like Texas.
Regional?
Like, yeah, is there Texas bourbons or whiskeys? And she's like, oh, yeah. So she's like, there's one from Balmorhea, which is actually just where his ranch was. We were just outside of Balmorhea. And so I'm like, oh, that'll be perfect. I'll take that. She's like, well, it's expensive. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. Like, and I'm in my head, like around here, I'll drop $60 to $80 for like $60 for my daily bourbons, right? The ones that I enjoy, maybe a little bit less.
Wow, yeah. Because I mean, I think
30, 40 for you know.
I think 60 to 80 is pretty expensive.
It's the high end of like, oh, sure. I like this, but I'm willing to pay that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then like 125 to 150 is kind of like, oh, that's expensive bourbon. Like that's something I'm sipping. I'm certainly not using it as a mixer. And then anything beyond that is kind of ridiculous because as I've tasted bourbons, I'm kind of like, I don't. Either my palate's not refined enough, or they're not different enough, one way or the other. I'm
Put
not
a pin
sure.
in that. We're gonna come back to that.
So anyway, she's like, it's expensive, and I'm like, oh, it's okay. Like to get a local Balmorhea bourbon, I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, I'll pay 150, 175 for that. Mm-hmm. So she rings me up. She's like, okay, that'll be $260. And I'm like, whoa! She's like, do you still want it? And I'm like, yes,
of course.
I'm not cheap.
You open the store for me. I'm committed.
I'll figure out the argument with my wife later. So I did. I got it, and I'm like, this might taste like the bottom of a boot, but oh well. I'm committed at this point. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So and then I was not. The way the trip worked out, I had to send it back with the group that we were with because I wasn't able to be there the last night. So I'm like, hey, will you give this to him? Tell him thank you. We appreciate it. Like 2 years, it's been great. Yeah. And so they take it back and give it to him. But he's a Diet Coke and bourbon mixer drinker, and I said to them, I said, don't say this to him, but if you mix that with that Coke, I'm going to drive down there and slap it out of his mouth.
No! You stop that!
But I did research it, and it's a prestigious bourbon. It's won 2 major awards for its flavor. So and I can actually buy it locally. So I'm actually thinking about what's the story I tell my wife, or do I just wait till she dies of her high blood pressure?
Oh, man.
And in the transition between her and the Greek wife, do I get that purchase?
Yeah.
So but it was I just thought it was really funny when we talked about in the episode. I'm like I told that story of here's my saint moment of like me being generous or whatever, but I'm like, I'm just covering up my selfishness, like.
Well, yeah.
Which is every sinner and saint moment. There is this tension that is held there between our best and our worst, and it's some people are like, oh, that's hypocritical. And I don't think it is. I think it's the path. You're standing in the fork of 2 roads, and you're like, man, I can be this guy or I can be this guy.
Right.
And even though I may choose, quote unquote, the saintly path, there's still the hypocritical thoughts or the thoughts of the other path of like, what's my true motivation here? Why am I doing this? Is it altruistic or am I posturing? So it's all very muddled, which is part of why we have to suspend judgment of just being like, just check yourself there. You don't really know all that's going on. Mm-hmm. So sorry to interrupt your soccer game.
No, you're good. You're good. It was halftime, and I felt like I was really engaged. Because I was like, we're bantering now. And then, all of a sudden, it came back on.
Ben, can you tell me what I just talked about?
I was like,
I'd like to hear your version of the story I just told.
Yeah. Fulham's not coming back on the field after halftime. And that's very puzzling because Everton's back on the field and Fulham's not there.
Thanks for listening.
No, you were talking about when you stand.
No, I'm not.
No. I can get gut checked. Fulham's finally coming out. For those of you wanting to listen to yesterday's
Sinner and Saint and soccer updates coming out.
Yeah, ridiculous. So going back to the pin.
Well, you stuck in 5, so let's go. We're voodooing this thing.
Okay, I don't know what that means. Oh, the voodoo pin doll.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, ex-wife. I would say, have you ever been to a whiskey tasting where you're sampling several different things?
Yes.
And have they asked, when you smell this, what are you getting?
Yes.
I love being the jerk in the room, where I'll be like,
pickles?
I'm getting a hickory. I'm getting a real strong hickory, and then black cherry, not regular cherries, but black cherries, but only the pit. You know, when you roll the pit around in your mouth, it smells just like that. And then I love the people that'll be like, oh yeah, I can get that.
It's totally like fortune tellers, right?
Yeah.
Card readers are I feel like, does this taste like a bad day? It does taste like a bad day.
What's this taste like? My alcoholic youth? The 90s? That's what this smells like. Not Teen Spirit. Yeah, and then the one I love going to the most is, peanut butter. You guys get peanut butter? Because then they'll just be like, well, everybody loves peanut butter.
Almost everybody. Yeah. My father-in-law, my best friend in college, do not. So I don't. They're broken. Broken.
I'm gonna be honest. I never trust a person who doesn't like peanut butter.
It doesn't make sense to me. I can eat it straight from the jar with a spoon, and I will double dip that. So if you ever come to my house and eat peanut butter, just know that I have probably double dipped in that jar, and I'm not ashamed.
Now let me ask: does your whole family double dip on things?
Oh no, I'm probably the only one that I drink out of the milk carton.
Wow! Incredible! Oh my gosh! So here's what happened. On the video, here we go. Me as a youth, Patrick is a youth. Me as an adult, Patrick is an adult. When it comes to eating,
I don't care.
There's only one thing I ever double dip in. And it's because I'm the only person who eats it. And so, it's a cottage cheese. I'm the only person in my house that eats cottage cheese.
Yeah, I was going there too.
And so, no, we're staying, we're going to stay real Christian on this. I double dip in the cottage cheese, but my stepson, dude, he will take the whole apple juice with him and he'll just chug it right out, and I'm just like, yeah, you're the only one who drinks the apple juice.
Yeah,
cool.
that's my youngest.
Like that's no doubt, man. You're the only one who drinks that, so have at it. But like, if I saw him double dipping, like if I saw him just eating in the peanut butter, I'd be like, yo, that's yours now. You take that with you.
After we're done, we're going over PB&J's at the house.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
I just figure that helps to round out the immune system. Like that's going to introduce you to some of the germs and bacteria that are in my system. That's going to help you and your system, and it's going to help you get to that 100 years. 100 years, baby.
Are you a 5-second rule guy?
Oh, 5, 10, 15.
You will eat things off the floor?
All day. All day. I've been to Jamaica and Honduras where it's kind of like...
No, dude, I've been, I mean...
All right, I can eat that.
I've eaten in some pretty sketchy places around the world.
No, it's...
But I don't know, here's the thing.
What's it going to do?
Nothing. That's the reality. It's not going to do anything.
It's not going to do anything.
But mentally, here's my problem. And I'm like...
soft.
I am, apparently. This is legit. There was one day where I was
take that shirt off. Model citizen, zero discipline. Baloney. You're just full of fear. Full of fear.
It's a Van Halen quote, man. I love Van Halen. The thing that gets me is there was one day because I was all about I drop it, I eat it, no big deal. For years and years. But there was one day I was at work in the men's room and I was in the stall.
I'm not eating anything off the bathroom.
Hold up. And the stall next to me overflowed. And there was a drain between us, but there was not my human waste going down the drain. And I was like, oh, I gotta get out of here. I went home that night, and granted, I walked around my office, I walked to my car, I drove home, but I dropped something on the floor that night, and I saw that horrific fecal episode next to me, and I was like, oh my God, my shoes have been in men's rooms. And as soon as I equated my shoes have been in men's room to my kitchen floor, I've never eaten anything off the floor since.
I'm done.
And I just couldn't. It's this mental block. It's like, it's what I think authors get. Because they're just like, I have no idea what to write, and I'm like, I just can't eat that ham.
It wouldn't faze me. I grew up in the butcher shop, so cutting up meat, I mean, whatever. So, like, I mean, there was stuff all over the floor. In that.
Oh, yeah.
So it just was kind of like, you know.
Dad's intestines.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, but also the problem for me is I don't have a dog anymore.
Yeah.
Because it used to be something fell on the floor. You couldn't pick it up faster than that.
No, they're getting it.
And it was loud. It was a real mouthy. Oh, yeah. Funny sidebar here. Years and years ago, Max was little, and I was at work, and at that job I had, we had a kitchen. Like it was a weird office space, but we had like a proper kitchen with an oven and everything. And I was in the kitchen one day, and I dropped something on the floor, and I made the noise that I used to call Max. And the vice president was standing next to me, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And like without shame, I just go, "Calling my dog." He was like, "What is that noise?" And I was like, "That's the noise I make with my dog to come clean up what I drop."
What's the noise?
I think it would actually be really annoying, but I'm gonna back away from the mic.
Okay.
It was like a high pitched sucking.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's the same. Like when Brutus was around, I'd be like, "Come on."
Yeah. Yours was a kissy.
Yeah.
Mine's like a puckered up sphincter sucking.
You're really getting into it there. Yeah.
I want so not everybody's on video.
They don't need much. I mean, you could really probably just tap something.
Well, and the reality is
they're hearing whatever it is hit the ground.
Well, and I was gonna say the reality is freaking Fulham. The reality is he was already there. Like if I was in the kitchen, the dog was like
he's on your heels. He's like, I'm waiting for the payday.
Captain Butterfingers is going to drop me a treat.
All right, I'm with you there. I do like that we mentioned voodoo earlier. It is a pretty good joke where the wife is upstairs and is like, "Honey, do you believe in voodoo?" And he's like, "No, not really." And she's like, "Does your knee hurt?" And he's like, "No, why?" And she's like, "How about now?"
Oh my word! Hey, where are we on time?
That's a pretty good.
Are we good?
We're at 40, so we made it to 40.
Okay, So I would like you to close us out.
Scores 2-1. We offended.
No. Oh, are you going to save it? Okay, tune in next week because Patrick just told a joke. But we have an awesome story about Patrick mistelling a joke.
Yeah.
That because we record in batches, we're going to record again in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get it till next week. But we're going to lead with it.
It's the highlight of my wife's life. Like,
oh my God.
This is the best day of her life.
Dude, I have told this story to so many people. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So tune in next week. We're going to lead with it.
Yeah.
But who did we offend today? We offended anybody who went to IU, OSU, or Michigan.
Take that, people.
Yeah. You offended Michiganders in general.
And just in general.
Oh my gosh!
Okay.
What he's doing with that noise,
Whatever.
if you're on the podcast, is he's holding his hand up
pointing
like the
my
mitten,
hand.
and he's pointing where someone's from on the mitten. But I've never heard.
That's just what they sound like when they talk. Where are you from? Okay. All right. You just can't.
Wow.
You don't have town names up there in Michigan.
Nope.
You just have digits and palms. All right, fine.
It's all we can afford. It's all we can afford is our hand.
We did not offend the Greeks. They got some loving.
Boy, they got
Sweet
lots of loving. We offended your wife with all the high blood pressure talk.
She's got to get her stuff together. If she's going to live the rest of her life with me, she's going to have to be a fine specimen of health.
You said fine specimen of health, and I reverted right back to when you said out loud, well, drop some LBs in your blood pressure comes down. I'm like, dang, that's harsh. Like, ooh.
It's been pretty.
Ooh.
She and I have joked about it consistently all week. And I had to check with her because I was like, you do know I'm joking, right? Like we are playing, right? I don't want you to be like, you said all these things and you think I'm being real, but we have teased each other. She has teased herself.
I feel like you're saying that.
Chosen herself? Teased herself?
I don't know.
That's a weird word. That's a weird one.
I feel like you're saying this because your in-laws listen to this. And so you're like, hey, we have it. We're good. We're good at home.
Yeah, I don't know if they listen to it. They used to. I don't know if they still do.
They probably
They don't give me any feedback, so we either offended them enough or they quit listening. Yeah.
Well, I just call them quitters, so let's add them to the list of the people we offended.
Cammy listens to it. She does listen to it routinely. So
Hi, Cammy.
Yeah, hi Cammy.
What'd you learn today?
I learned we went. That was the most stressful. Prior to this was the most stressful thing you and I've ever done together.
We have talked
what's
about.
What's your grade? How do you grade how we did?
A C. A solid C. Middle of the road. We have talked about how well we would do on The Amazing Race. We're liars. I watched us both stubbornly try and fix problems, and we were not as cohesive as I thought we would be in the face of adversity.
The problem is I know you're not. You have no technology knowledge.
Zero. I YouTube everything.
And I have enough to get me in trouble. And I know we had done this before.
We got in trouble.
and so, like, I wasn't going to ask you for help because I'm like, well, I might as well ask the door for help.
And then I felt useless, too.
And that's what I felt. Like, is you more feeling useless? And I was like, he's about to just pack up and leave. Like, he's about to just be like, you know what? We're putting out reruns again, and
nope,
when we get it.
I gotta tell you, the battery died. Crap, we lost. I'm just kidding. I'm like, we're just gonna talk. I just had to knee jerk you there, man. I couldn't resist.
Boy screaming the rest of the session.
I learned today that you were a good kid. You were a very good kid.
Not because I was good. I was an avoider. I was an avoider.
You were an
I was
avoider.
good
You were
because
scared.
I didn't want to get caught.
Yeah.
Which is how most Christians live.
Yeah, I went.
Yeah, we don't live out of true, genuine goodness. We live because we don't want to be in trouble.
Yeah.
So.
I learned I hate Fulham Football Club.
Well,
so take that.
I learned. You watching soccer games during the podcast is not my favorite way to do a podcast.
Well, then enjoy the first half of the next podcast.
So with that, I'd say, when life throws you a curve and you continue to get frustrated, at least make sure you're doing it with somebody that you enjoy doing life with, because when you do find the solution, well, you find the solution, and thankfully the relationship's still there regardless. So
Hey, we're doing it.
hey, we're doing it. Yep.
We're still friends.
All right.
You're my best friend.
My best friend.
All right, Mr. Ghost, get us out of here. Everton can't get their game right. Fulham's going to win this match. Everton is gonna get relegated.
I wouldn't say that was heavy lifting. There was certainly some sanding that needed to happen.
We got into it about halfway.
About halfway there.
But
We
boy,
had to get a couple stories under our belt to
Man,
get the stress out of us.
Buried our anger straight into it.
Of course,
cocktail helped.
Of course, we haven't listened to this. So once we listen to this, we'll see whether or not it actually
And you know
came
what?
out. And if it doesn't, we're breaking something.
We're gonna go out and break. If we have lost this episode, I am going to come unglued.
If we lose this episode, we might be done. We might just be like, you know what?
Not
I'll meet you at the bar, and we're just going to return.
But in the event that this did land, thank you for tuning in.
Cross
Thank
your
you for
fingers, say your
listening.
prayers.
Yeah, please leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. Tell a friend, share it, spread the weird. We appreciate it.
Did somebody use a voodoo doll against us?
My back is killing me.